Listen to the woman who wrote The Matrix and the Terminator.
Well, that's what the Matrix is about, to wake you up from the Matrix, to get you out of the illusions and the lies and the ignorance. So it's not dangerous for me because that's my job. That's what I came here to do. That's why I wrote The Matrix and Terminator, to wake people up so they can move on to greater, better things.
Yeah, but
the Terminator is the prequels to the beginning of the Matrix. Sarah Connor is actually Neo's mother. So JC, John Connors, Jesus Christ, grows up to be Neo, one and the same in the Matrix. The Matrix is in the future. The Terminator is the past. It's time travel, past, present, and future time travel. It's the second coming of the Christ, the evolutions of consciousness, man versus the machine. So the machines, the Terminator machines, hear that a child is going to be born that's going to terminate them in the future when they oppress man. So see, it's a man versus the machine. It's God's children versus man's children, which is technology.
Man versus the machine. Let me explain.
Where do you usually take your car when it breaks down? The mechanic. When your phone breaks, instead of buying a new one, what do? You take it back to the company store that made it to get it fixed. When anything physically breaks, we seem to know what to do, but anything spiritually, and we hit a patch of resistance. Why is that? Common sense would tell us that when something breaks, we take it back to the manufacturer, the one who made it. So why don't we take our spiritual matters back to our Creator, the one who made us? Us being the works of the hands of the craftsman, bringing our matters to the Holy One of Wisdom, whom all things are established. I mean, that would be the logical solution, right? But man doesn't know him. Why? Because man is stuck in the Matrix.
You wanted to know what the Matrix is, Neo? This will feel a little weird.
In order to escape the Matrix, you have to know how it exists. See, the Matrix will have you focused on all the things it has to offer you physically, money, status, fleshly desires, etc., to monopolize your attention so that you never allocate time to the things that will help you develop your soul. You know, the things that will actually help you become a better person. You can't hope to truly see or understand the Matrix, let alone escape it through physical means. You have to understand it spiritually. It's a much bigger plan being worked here, and the Matrix is designed so that you never come to that conclusion. Elohim Yehovah tells us what's happening if we continue down this path in Isaiah 24, verse 4 through 6, KJV. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty rulers of this world, the people of the earth, do languish. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and a few men left. One would ask, why is the earth going to languish and fade away? Well, verse 4 through 6 gives us the answer. The governors and rulers that rule the world have transgressed the law, changed the ordinances, and broken the everlasting covenant. The world is being devoured by the people who rule it, and there is a curse upon the land. But how is the earth being devoured by the curse? How are the so-called rulers of this earth doing this? The computer is a part of their plan. They're trying to get rid of us through crafty counsel, as seen in Psalms 83, verse 2 through 4, KJV. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, a disturbance amongst the multitude, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against the angels, thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut Israel off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. To confirm everything spoken thus far, William Cooper gives the historical proof of why the computer was made. Silent weapons for a quiet war. Silent weapon technology has evolved from operations research, a strategic and tactical methodology developed under the military management of Eisenhower in England during World War II. The original purpose of operations research was to study the strategic and technical problems of air and land defense with the objective of effective use of limited military resources against foreign enemies. It was soon recognized by those in positions of power, the Council of Foreign Relations, that the same methods might be useful for totally controlling a society. But better tools were necessary. Social engineering. The analysis and automation of a society requires the correlation of great amounts of consistently changing economic information. So a high-speed computerized data processing system was necessary, which could race ahead of society and predict when society would arrive for capitulation. Relay computers were too slow, but the electronic computer, invented in 1946 by J. Presper Eckert and John W. Mauchly, filled the bill. The next breakthrough was the development of the simplex method of linear programming in 1947 by the mathematician George B. Dantzig. Then, in 1948, the transistor, invented by James Bardeen, W. H. Brattain, and W. Shockley, promised great expansion of the computer field by reducing space and power requirements. With these three inventions under their direction, those in positions of power strongly suspected that it was possible for them to control the whole world with the push of a button. The purpose of the elites, the rulers that be, creating the computer was to entangle all nations into the matrix, with the sole purpose of all those who trust in the matrix to be affected by their plan of Agenda 21. A woman by the name of Rosa Koire deeply explains the vision and framework behind Agenda 21.
Hi, I'm Rosa Koire with the Post-Sustainability Institute and Democrats Against UN Agenda 21.com. And I'm also the author of Behind the Green Mask, UN Agenda 21. I'd like to talk with you for a minute here about United Nations Agenda 21 Sustainable Development and what we're seeing right now, the total unrest, the disruption, the destruction of our existing nation state. And I want you to know that this is part of the goal of United Nations Agenda 21 Sustainable Development. When you think about what SMART is, it's sustainability, monitoring, assessing, rating, and tracking you. So when you hear that the United Nations has a goal of total connectivity, universal connectivity across the world for all people, whether they're in Africa or Asia or anywhere else in the world, that every single school child, it's a UNICEF program, GIGA, should have access to the internet. And in fact, that they say that they have digitalized the world more in the last 10 weeks with the COVID experience. They've just digitized the world more in the last 10 weeks than they have in the last 10 years. So this is a goal, and the goal is to control you, to surveil you, to manage you, to monitor you. And why? Okay, am I just paranoid? Is this just some, panic that I have going here? No, this isn't. In fact, the United Nations Agenda 21 Sustainable Development Goal has been very clear for a long, long time, about 150 years. And that goal is to, rid the planet of undesirables, to limit the population. As Ted Turner says, there's just too many people using up too much stuff, right? That's you. So in order to make this, so that's the goal. The strategy, there has to be a strategy. And the strategy is a revolution, whether it's violent revolution with the Bolsheviks and the Communist Chinese, or it's Fabian socialism, which is slow penetration into the universities, the government, and civil society. And so that is what we've been experiencing, of course. And of course, the variable is occasionally you need a little terror thrown in there. That's part of the tactic of making this plan happen. So part of the tactics, of course, are technology and planning. And the amount of technology, the ability to make this plan happen has not been seen on this planet before. there is, the ability to track you, to trace descent, to eliminate descent, has never been so powerful, and so there's not been this capability before. So in the this really has generated the origination of this, I should say, poorly, is in the 1800s with the House. Of course, England was ruled by mainly the House of Lords, and these were powerful people who wanted to continue to control. And of course, during that period of time, England was incredibly powerful, was starting to lose their grip on the colonies. And then here, the population of Europe had literally doubled within about 100 years. And the other thing was that the poor had learned how to read. So they could read, they could communicate with one another, and they could spread information. So they were dangerous, and also, simply they were the mass. They were considered to be inferior to those who wanted to run and control everything. So you see the popularizers of the One World Plan, which were Bertrand Russell, George Bernard Shaw, H.G. Wells. You saw all of these people were popularizing the idea that there should be one world government, because how could you, keep the planet under control unless you had it under a single, basically benevolent dictator? So from there you went to the League of Nations, which Woodrow Wilson proposed, and it failed, and then go into 1945 with the United Nations. Fast forward to 1992 with the Plan of Action, the Comprehensive Blueprint for Sustainable Development, which basically uses climate change and as an element of terror, that you're destroying the planet. You need to control this vast mass of human beings and limit it. And this is the design of this plan. This is actually the goal of this plan, is to take control of the planet, take control of you, and control the world, and limit the population of the world. This is the roadmap. This is the comprehensive plan of action. What you need to do is refuse to collaborate, refuse to cooperate, do not be an early adopter of technology, and absolutely spread this information. Educate yourself. This is a really quick little shoot here, but I just want you to take a look at more, find out more. You need to know what the goals are. The goals are to get rid of you. You're just too much trouble. So thank you. Check it out. Democrats Against UN, Agenda21.com, and Behind the Green Mask, UN Agenda 21. Thank you.
But how does man end up here in Agenda 21? Yeshua, our great Father, answers this in Jeremiah 17, verse 5 through 6, KJV. Thus saith Father Yeshua, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from Elohim Yahovah. For he shall be like the heath in the desert, and shall not see when good cometh, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land, and not inhabited. But this is why Father Yeshua told man in the same chapter in verse 7, that blessed is the man that trusteth in Elohim Yahovah, and whose hope Elohim Yahovah is. But why did Father Yeshua say this? Isaiah answers this in Isaiah chapter 12, verse 2, KJV. Behold, Elohim Yahovah is my salvation. I will trust and not be afraid. For Elohim Yahovah is my strength and my song. He also is become my salvation. To my Hebrew people first, then the Gentile. Why is it so important to know that salvation is of Elohim Yahovah? It's because when trusting in Elohim Yahovah, one is strengthened in the fruits of the Spirit, as seen in Galatians chapter 5, verse 22 through 23, KJV. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. But he who trusts in man trusts in the machine.
Hey, how's it going? Hello? Hello?
You have now entered the Ezra effect.
Your worldly governors already had their plan intact that the computer would one day become a phone. Would that be by accident? I think not. Why? Because they want everything to be quick, pushing the masses to have no patience. This is why Paul tells us in Galatians 5, verse 16 through 17 KJV, that this I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that they cannot do the things that ye would. But William Cooper takes this a step further when he says in his book, Behold a Pale Horse, on page 56, experience has proven that the simplest method of securing a silent weapon and gaining control of the public is to keep the public undisciplined and ignorant of basic systems principles on the one hand, while keeping them confused, disorganized, and distracted with matters of no real importance on the other hand.
With social media.
This is achieved by disengaging their minds, sabotaging their mental activities, providing a low-quality program of public education in mathematics, logic, systems designs, and economics, and discouraging technical creativity.
Bro, listen to this. Engaging their emotions, increasing their self-indulgence, and their indulgence in emotional and physical activities, unrelenting emotional affrontation and attacks, mental and emotional rape,
by way of constant barrage of sex, violence, and wars in the media, especially the TV and newspapers, giving them what they desire in access, junk food for thought, and depriving them of what they really need, rewriting history and law, and subjecting the public to the deviant creation, thus being able to shape and shift their thinking from personal needs to highly fabricated outside priorities. These preclude their interest in and discovery of the silent weapons of social automation technology. The general rule is that there is profit in confusion. The more confusion, the more profit. Therefore, the best approach is to create problems and then offer the solutions. Keep in mind that through the media, they keep the adult public attention diverted away from the real social issues and captivated by matters of no real importance, using the school systems to keep the young public ignorant of real mathematics, real economics, real law, and real history. Through phony entertainment by keeping the public entertainment below a 6th grade level, and work.
Keeping the public busy, with no time to think, back on the farm with the other animals. Hey, bro, do you hear this?
This is being done purposely, that man be absolutely clueless on who to call upon in these last days. The enemy, Satan's agenda, is to have everyone so engulfed in sin that they be absolutely clueless on the coming attacks and where it's coming from. The first attack would be the implementation of fear. But look at what Apostle Paul says about fear in 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7, KJV. For Elohim Jehovah hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. A fear tactic will be used to divert the people's attention from what happens next.
This is the video that Bill Gates put together, along with the team, complete with simulated news reports like this. This is really what they're preparing for us. This video is called Get Ready. Watch. Catastrophic contagion, a global challenge. Breaking news.
2 Latin American countries alerted the WHO of several outbreaks of a new infectious disease that's mysteriously appearing across the region. Severe epidemic enterovirus respiratory syndrome 2025.
Oh, so that's the name, guys. Just write this down. That'll be the name of it, okay? It's SEERS. It's going to be called the Severe Epidemic Enterovirus Respiratory Syndrome, and 2025 is when we'll see it, okay? Now, it says at the bottom this is a fictional scenario, but come on.
This new form of COVID, SEERS, another respiratory attack, is when the next tactic will present itself. The next tactic is a cyber attack on all money. This attack will heighten fear, and it will also promote chaos. This tactic is seen in Genesis 47, verse 14 through 15, KJV. And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, for the corn which they have bought. And Joseph brought the money unto Pharaoh's house. And when money faileth in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, Give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence, for the money faileth? And when money is of no more value, this is when man will become desperate. This is seen in Genesis 47, verse 16 through 18, KJV. And Joseph said, Give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle, if money fail. And they brought their cattle unto Joseph. And Joseph gave them bread in exchange for their horses, for their flocks, for their cattle of the herds, and for the donkeys. And he fed them with bread for all their cattle for that year. When that year was ended, they came unto him the second year, and said unto him, We will not hide it from my lord, how that our money is spent. My lord also hath our herds of cattle. There is not aught left in the sight of my lord but our bodies and our lands. That which was is what it shall be, man attempting to use their possessions in exchange for food. During this time, the morale of man will be at its worst. This is why Apostle Paul says in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3 KJV, Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. This is why Elohim Yehovah says in Jeremiah 4, verse 28 through 29 KJV, For this shall the earth mourn, and the heavens above be black, because I, Elohim Yehovah, have spoken it. I have purposed it, and I will not repent, neither will I, Elohim Yehovah, turn back from it. The whole city shall flee for the noise of the horsemen and the bowmen. They shall go into thickets and climb up upon the rocks. Every city shall be forsaken, and not a man dwell therein. When the chaos is at its absolute worst, a man by the name of MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, the Antichrist, will present himself, as seen in Revelations chapter 6, verse 5, KJV. And when he had opened the third seal, I, John the Revelator, heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he sat on him, and had a pair of balances in his hand. Who is MBS? Remember the black horse rider, according to Revelation 6, verse 5 KJV, bringing order and balance to the coming chaos? The breakdown is seen in Revelation 17, verse 10 through 11 KJV. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast, Mohammed bin Salman, that was, and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. He will bring peace to the worldly chaos through reforms. We know this because he first reformed his own land in Riyadh. But my people, hear me. Evil is in his heart. This is why Apostle Paul says in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3 KJV, For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. The point of the Matrix is that the elites want the people trapped in it. So in the end days, they fully embrace the Antichrist. This is why John the Revelator says in Revelations 13, verse 2 through 3, KJV, And the beast which I, John the Revelator, saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon, the Roman Catholic Church, gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I, John the Revelator, saw one of his heads as if it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wandered after the beast. This is why John the Revelator goes on to say in Revelations 13, verse 4 through 7 KJV, And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, Mohammed bin Salman. And they worshipped the beast, saying,
Who is like unto this beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months, a span of 3.5 years. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against Elohim Jehovah, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven, Father Yeshua and Papa Yahuwah. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And because he's being revealed, Mohammed bin Salman is going to hide his identity, as seen in Jeremiah 4 verse 30 KJV. And when thou art spoiled, what wilt thou do? Though thou clothest thyself with crimson, though thou deckest thee with ornaments of gold, though thou rentest thy face with painting, in vain shalt thou make thyself fair. Thy lovers will despise thee, they will seek thy life. And when all eyes are on Mohammed bin Salman, look at what Daniel prophesies about what Mohammed bin Salman is going to do in Daniel chapter 8, verse 23 through 25 KJV. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. And Mohammed bin Salman shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace destroy many. Mohammed bin Salman shall also stand up against the Prince of Princes, Elohim Jehovah, but he shall be broken without hand. And after Mohammed bin Salman causes witchcraft to prosper, look at what John the Revelator says in Revelations 13, 11 through 12 KJV. And I, John the Revelator, beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spoke as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the powers of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, Mohammed bin Salman, whose deadly wound was healed. Now, with all these great displays of power and false miracles, David Blaine is going to get the world to worship after Mohammed bin Salman. But now look at what he does next in Revelations 13, verse 14 through 15 KJV. And deceiveth them, the masses that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, Mohammed bin Salman, saying to them that dwell on earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Now, when it's all said and done, what's the peace that's going to make everyone wander after the beast? This is seen in Revelations chapter 13, verse 13, KJV. And he, David Blaine, doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in sight of men. And after David Blaine does these miracles, look at what John the Revelator says in Revelations 13, verse 16 through 17 KJV. And he, David Blaine, causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
I don't want to start any chaos, but I know what's about to happen next. I've been preparing for it for the past 6 years. You know, people see me come and go, but they don't know where I come and where I go. What I do know is, when I read the Bible, it does not lie to me. It says in the last days, leave the cities, go back out to the rural lands in the country. Learn how to make your own food, because if you're attached to this system, they're gonna own you. What's this country gonna do when money doesn't work anymore? Because money is almost over. Then that means there has to be another system of barter and trade. Chips are coming. Microchips are coming.
What do you think is, like, when you say that's coming, what do you feel?
I feel like this country is going to find out it was never a country at all. It was always a plan for another plan.